All right, all right, all right. Welcome, everybody. My name is 12 Gauge. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. If you're new to the channel, hope that you find something that you enjoy, something that enhances your mental capacity and doesn't diminish it. Everything here is spoken in general terms, so it's not meant to be at anybody. I speak in general terms, meaning that I'm just speaking to myself most of the time because there's not a lot of people in chat, but neither here nor there. But everything's in general terms. And also, what's said here is my opinion, it's my thoughts. And if they're somehow found true in the near future, then we can call them facts. So, welcome everybody. Just got back from a trip. I'm kind of tired, but I wanted to get on here because I tried to go live earlier today, and for some reason I was getting very sketchy internet service. So I recorded a video. I'm downloading it with my phone. So after it's downloaded, I will play that for you guys. It's at 52% right now, so it's downloading kind of slow. But I was able to, since I was in Austin, I was able to go to Lady Bird Lake, take a look around, and I've done a live stream about the Lady Bird Lake. Um, I don't know what you would call them, suspected drownings, um, suspected murders. Um, I don't know what you would call them, but I've done a live stream on that, and Mr. Black was the one that was able to commentate that video. And I like the way his voice sounds, so he did a great job. But if you haven't found about what that video or this case is about, it's basically out of Austin, Texas, where men are popping up at that lake and they seem to be fully dressed. And for some reason, they don't have a reason. The police does not have a reason other than an accidental drowning. Most of the cases that they're saying that these men just stepped off and accidentally drowned. So I was able to do a video recording today off my phone, where I show you some things that enable you to make up your mind on exactly what could potentially be the problem. I found out some other interesting things while I was down there that I could speculate on. Um, Let me say hi to the people in the chat right quick. Aquarius, thank you for being here. Sergeant Friday, Jeff, thank you for being here. Like I said, I found out some interesting things while I was down there, and I will point all that out once I get the video going. It's almost completed. If you're not certain about the case, hi Georgia. I I suggest that maybe you look on YouTube. There's plenty of videos on there, or you can go find it on my video list. It will be under a live stream. And like I said, Mr. Black narrates it. And I don't know if you are familiar with Mr. Black, but he has an interesting voice and he's able to put things in ways that a lot of people are unable to do. Um, He did have some interesting theories on his presentation on certain people that have been arrested for certain crimes that they've had across the country. Um, some female gangs, African American women, have been caught drugging individuals and then stealing their credit cards. And these men were later found, floating in the rivers around the country. And also, he goes into the area of drugging with different types of drugs that are used to incapacitate certain individuals. It's no longer just roofies or GHB, but it's other types of drugs, and it's very quick acting, and it incapacitates the person to the point where they're unable to be very responsive. Um, Georgia, I will repeat myself here in a second. It says, "May I ask what case you're referring to? I've been out of the loop. My husband hurt his back. I'm sorry to hear that. Haven't been online much. Well, I understand what a hurt back feels like. So my prayers are to your husband because I do understand how a hurt back. And I'm referring to it's called Lady Bird Lake drownings. I can't say murders because they haven't really specified them as murders, but there's like at least 22 men between the ages of 30 and 40 that have drowned on Lady Bird Lake. And most of these men have a lot in common. Let me let me see if I can pull up a quick video that can kind of describe it for those of you that don't know what I'm talking about. That way, when I get to the footage that I took, you will understand what I'm talking about. So if y'all can hold on a second while I pull something up, that would be great. Let me see if I can find something quick. Um, there's still a little bit of time for this to load up, so here's something about 2 minutes long. And this was 2 months ago, so let me play this for you guys. Welcome to you guys that are here in chat. I hope that you stayed through the whole thing because it's quite interesting footage, and it's quite interesting what I'm about to coincide with everything that I find out today. Because I was down there for at least an hour or so. So let me play this news footage. This was 2 months ago. So there was another body found at Lady Bird Lake. So here we go.
Our initial thoughts were hopefully it's not our friend. We just don't want it to be our friend.
Jaden Wolf and a group of friends were drawn to Lady Bird Lake after hearing Austin police recovered a body from the water while they were searching for their friend.
He went missing Saturday night at like around 11:30 on 6th Street. We were all just at the bars. Thought he went home with someone else and didn't end up coming home the next night or tonight. So that's what brought us out here.
Around 1:30 Monday afternoon, Austin police received a check welfare urgent call.
A caller stated on the north side of Lady Bird Lake, 20 feet in the water, he thinks he found a dead body.
According to the police, they arrived to the scene to find a person dead in the lake along Cesar Chavez between South 1st Street and Congress, bringing fear to the group of friends and those that frequent the trail.
It's not saying if it's a male or female. So yeah, we're kind of hoping to figure out a little more information and get the word out that our friend is missing. We're all from Utah. We're here for work, so there's like no reason he should be missing at all. Like we all got here like Friday night. We're here for work, and then he went missing Saturday night.
It'd be hard to see how this could be an accident. I mean, it's pretty shallow water here. You have signs everywhere, so I don't know, it'd be hard to see an accident. I think if that was like the reason given, it'd be hard to believe. It has to be something going on with all the previous bodies found.
Abdul Tabaka rides his bike on the trail daily and says this is not the first time a body has been found in the lake. Last year, there were multiple bodies found, renewing fears of a serial killer. Last year, the city of Austin pledged $1 million for cameras and lighting near Rainey Street. Those improvements are set to be installed this summer, less than a mile away from where this body was found.
I know we have no details here yet, but if it's the same person, same story, then it's kind of crazy.
Okay, so this was 2 months ago. Okay. My video has uploaded, so I'm gonna try to play it without being copyrighted. Okay. What I'm going to tell you about my video, though, is there's a lot of things that were just spoken on in this news broadcast. One of them was Rainey Street, and I was going to get some video on Rainey Street, but I was driving and I couldn't really find a lot of parking spaces. There was a lot of people down there, especially on a Sunday, so it's hard to find parking spaces. So I was not able to get a lot of footage off Rainey Street, but it's really packed. And even though this is in the day, I want you to keep your mind open to what I'm about to show you and what I'm talking about. Okay, because I'm gonna speak some more about it after I show the video. Okay, so this is a video by 12 Gauge Phillips called Lady Bird Lake. So I don't get striked. I'm not too worried about it, but just in case, giving myself props for the video. Here we go. So I'm with people. So if you hear voices or you hear some comments, we're being silly. We're walking the lake. So, just be open-minded. Here we go. Hello, this is 12 Gauge. I'm here at the Lady Bird Lake, going live, showing the area where many men have lost their lives. Here's the shoreline. As you can see, it's very dense. A lot of trees. There's a wooden barrier. And there's a street up there. As you can see, there's many people running and jogging. Ravine area. This is one of the areas where a couple of the people were found. If you can imagine, at nighttime, coming down here, just falling in the water. Does that make sense? See how dense it is. See, the running trail goes all the way to the other side. Ten-mile walking trail, running trail. Like I said, look at the denseness of the foliage. There's really not a shoreline, so to speak. It's quick, you're in the water. security cruising. Back on the trail a little bit. See, there's a fence on this trail. Rainy Street, probably about 2 blocks away. There's another fence, followed by a wooden fence. But there's a break in the fence right there. And as you can see, it just made for walking, walking your dogs. The building piers. If you do go off the track, look how close it is, how close the water's edge is. And obviously if it's dark, there you are, right at the water. Look at that nice little piece of work right there. And obviously if you come down here to this area, it's always better to come in packs. A lot of barriers. There are breaks in the fence. But there's still avenues where you can get into the water and trout. So this is just a video to show you how easy it is to get down here to this lake. And how a lot of waterfronts have a lot of dense forest area trees. And especially at nighttime, if you're around here, it's not that far from the trail down here to this water's edge. So it could be easily accessible to fall in. I mean, because there's the trail right there. So it's probably about 1, 2, 3. 10 steps. Ten steps from the water's edge. I'll move into Austin. And like I said, there's plenty of fencing that they put up. There's some of the high rises. So it's always great to be mindful of your surroundings. And that's all I got for right now. I'll be posting this after a while and we can talk about it. Okay, that is on my page if you want to go back and look at it, again. If not, that's fine. But one of the things that I did notice while I was down there is I had no service at all. Like my service was very sketchy. And I don't know if any of the victims had any problems on their phones. You know what I mean? Like it could be a problem with their phone that they didn't have any kind of service to be able to call for help, to be able to text for help. I do have an Android. I don't know if that has anything to do with the service area. I do have Verizon. Well, the other people that I had, some of them had iPhones and they had AT&T. So they had service. But as we realized throughout our time throughout that area, the service was in and out a lot. And as you heard about these guys that were on Rainy Street, um, they were they were kind of they wandered off, they wandered off and they weren't heard from again. Like their cell phones were just gone. Like you can't describe it. So I didn't know if that had anything to do with it, but I did notice that myself that the cell service was sketchy. And I'm about to show you on this map how close where I was and where Rainy Street is. Okay. So I hope you're hanging in there, guys. I hope it's not too extremely boring. Give me a one if you're enjoying the presentation so far. This is the area where I drove through there. And as you can see, there's that fence. But I'm going to go to Rainy Street and let you see how close Rainy Street is to this area. I suck with this little pointer thing. There's River Street. I think Rainy's at the end. I'm tired, guys, so I'm doing the best I can. Anyways, you can see on this map, here's Rainy. Here's where I showed you. This is where I was right here. This is where I parked. This is the little area that I showed you. This Holiday Inn right here. Let's see, where's the Holiday Inn at? I think there it is right here. Further down from where I was, right here, a body was found. I'll show you here on the map. Right here, a body was found. I think this is where my cousin was found right here, at this area. So if you look around here during the day, it looked kind of like there's a lot of people, what I showed you. There's a lot of people walking around, walking their dogs. But we drove through here and we drove under this underpass right here. And what we saw was it gets very isolated over here on this area. So could there be somebody stalking this area out for certain people? Or could it be, just these individuals going down too close to the water's edge and falling in, like I showed you? They on a lot of them, their toxicology report just came back with alcohol. It didn't come back with any kind of sedating drug or anything like that. And that's why it's so suspicious. And that's why they call it an accidental drowning. See, I came in this way and we parked right about here, right here where this vehicle is, because we went down this trail right here. See, as you can see right here, when I started the video, this is where the bridge was that I crossed over. And one of you asked if there was cameras. I really didn't look up because I didn't know where the cameras were located, but in that newscast, it showed that the cameras were located up above. So I'm sure now, as we were walking down that path, we were captured on camera. There might even be facial recognition cameras. You know what I mean? So it could be, a lot of different things now. As you saw, the people on the mule, the security that were driving by with the yellow vest on, it's totally different. Very good, Aquarius. Very good. It says, but some drugs are out of your system with 24 hours. You're right. Rohypnol, the GHB, all that gets out of your system fairly quickly. So, as I was showing you in the video, see right here, you can't tell how close the water is. I mean, you really can't. Not with this view. I mean, it looked close, but on the video that I showed you, the water is literally like probably, what did I say, 10 steps? And there's the water. So if you were drugged and you were, let's say, loaded up in a vehicle, let me see if I can get to Rainy Street. That way we can see some of the areas that are along Rainy Street so that you can see how close it is to be able to get into a vehicle, maybe being told it was a Uber or anything of that sort, ride share. Here's Rainy Street. So you see people walking there. There's food trucks all around. And this is true. It looked like this. Even on a Sunday, it was pretty packed. So if you went into one of these establishments and had a drink, and you were not coherent, and somebody was luring you out to one of these vehicles, literally the end of the street is right here. So I'm not exaggerating. You go around this turn right here and down a couple blocks, and the river is like right there. It's within a couple blocks away, if that. And they had arrested somebody, a black female, that was caught with credit cards, debit cards, and all these things from two gentlemen that she pushed in her car and told them that she was an Uber driver. And how did they get so intoxicated? I talked to a friend about GHB, okay? So if you're ever out and about and she's had that happen to her, she said it tastes really salty in your drink. So if you order a drink and it tastes real salty, make sure that you have the mindset to get somebody to help you who you're with, because it doesn't take very long. She said it feels like, she gave me a description of it. She said it feels like you spinning around really fast, closing your eyes, spinning around really fast, then opening your eyes and stopping. She said that's what it feels like. And then all of a sudden you're just black out. And she said when she woke up, she didn't remember anything. She was overheating, didn't remember anything that went on. See, all these are little bars and little places where you can get alcohol. And people at nighttime, are frequenting these places. See, that's a security guard right there. But some of these people are by themselves. And the cars are so close. Like, if you were in one of these businesses and you somehow were served a drink that was spiked, and they had a vehicle right here, you think somebody would be mindful enough to know, hey, they didn't come with that guy or that woman, and she's helping them in their vehicle. And then before you know it, bam, you're gone. They rob you. Worse yet, if you die in their vehicle, where do you think they're going to go dispose of you at? Because there's no special dosage of GHB or that other drug they called ID 40, I think, or 30, 20, something like that. I have to go watch that video again. But there's a new drug also that they're using. So think about that. And this is anywhere in the country, guys. So I don't want you to think that this couldn't happen anywhere else. So it might not be important to you because maybe you say, well, I don't go out or I don't do this, that, and the other, or I'm mindful of my surroundings. Well, I'm just trying to kick some knowledge to you guys because these 22 people, I'm sure, if they were done that way, they probably thought they were just out having a good time too. And it's happened all over the country. It's happened in Atlanta, Georgia. It's happened in New York. It's happened in Chicago. This is the place my cousin was supposedly at when he got intoxicated. It had a different name at that point, but supposedly he staggered out into the street right here and was dancing around and walked down this way. Down this sidewalk all the way to Lady Bird Lake, which isn't far at all. Because, like I'm about to show you, as you just walk down this way, see the walkways? There was no real camera footage to show where he walked, but it's speculated that he ended up at the lake. I'm trying to figure out how you get there over here. I'm lost. Where are we at? Okay. Keep walking all the way right here. And he was found over here by the Holiday Inn. So if he would have kept walking, it would have ended up at the end of that street. But he was found over a couple blocks. So here's the beginning of the lake. So if you look up this way, Rainy Street is up here. So here's the end of the street right here, and there's the lake. But he was found further down. So I don't know if he was thrown in this area and he floated down or whatever, because I haven't talked to my other cousins about it. So I don't know. I just know that he was missing for a long time and they found him in the lake. So here's Rainy Street, just as I showed you, and here's the beginning of Lady Bird Lake. Kind of like the same thing that in Nashville with Riley Strain. You remember he walked up down the wrong way and then ended up on Gay Street and then kind of ended up to a little park area like this. And he ended up in the lake. So I just wanted to show you guys that. See, it keeps going at 10 miles around. So if people aren't working these bars, and one thing that I learned too is to be a barback, you can work at any bar you want to. You're not stuck in one particular bar. So let's say that, see, here's the little area of Rainy. Let's say that you start off tonight. Let's say that they're shorthanded at this bar. You say, okay, I'll work it. You work it. Let's say you drug some people, and then the next night you work down here at this bar. Then you drug some people, or maybe a couple weeks go by and you drug some people, and then you come back to this bar. Because this, not this bar, but a bar on this street has um, a bad name, you know, and that bar's still open. Yes, one of my cousins was one of the victims at the lake. Thank you. Thank you so much. He was like my second cousin, but he's still a cousin. You know what I mean? Family is family. Anyways, what I'm saying is, I'm not. I'm speculating a lot here, but this speculation makes sense that somebody's drugging these people, or let's say that you have a contact. Let's say that you know somebody in this bar, and you're out here, and here's your vehicle, and you're saying, you text somebody and say, okay, scope the place out. There's a couple people in here. There's a person who walks in that seems to be flashy with money, jewelry, whatever. Maybe he's an older guy. Maybe he's even not straight. Because a lot of these people that have been found have an alternative lifestyle. So let's say that you got a couple people in here and they target somebody, and the barback that I said drugs them. These people keep an eye on them. One of them says, "Hey man, you're looking kind of drunk. Let me get you a cab or something, an Uber." They walk out. They say, "Here's your cab." Put them in the back seat. This person takes off with them. Next thing you know, they're floating in the lake because they have all their clothes on. They're found with all their clothes on, but they don't have. They never find their cell phones, and they never find any kind of identification. So it's very sketchy. See how narrow this street is? I mean, it's one way this way and one way this way. So there's only one way out and one way in on both sides of the street. So thank you so much. Thank you all so much. So think about this. If you are going out this way, you're just going in another regular car. You're taking a drunk person home, but you're really not. You're robbing them because they've already been drugged in the bar or wherever they've been. Most of them have been bars. They're not restaurants. Like I said, this was the place where my cousin was at. He didn't get into a vehicle, supposedly. Maybe he did. Maybe he got into a vehicle and they drove him down that way. Who knows? There's not a lot of information because there's not a lot of cameras down the street. There might be now, but there wasn't. Because when you don't think about certain things like this happening, you only hear about it, and you really don't have a lot of information, you're going to go with what evidence presents. And if you feel that these are accidental drownings, you're going to say it's a drowning. End of case. Let's move on. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's very easy to just ignore certain things because look at all these high rises that are going up. Look at all these apartment buildings that you want to fill up. The last thing that you want to say is that there's a serial killer down Rainy Street. Who's going to want to move into these buildings? Nobody. So it's all about presenting an image to get these buildings filled up because this is a huge area. And I don't know if you've ever been to Texas, but not far from this is another area called 6th Street. And that is another area that was very popular with bars and clubs and everything like that. And there's 4th, 5th, 6th. And that's another area where some of these people have been taken from. I thought originally that my cousin was on 6th Street, but he wasn't. It was raining. So this is what street is 6th Street. So you're going to see on this street a lot of little bars and a lot of businesses that cater to drinking. See, it's just little area that you go into, you have a drink, you keep walking to the next one, have another drink. See, they're just little areas, they're just little bars, and it's easy to get caught up in these areas. You know what I mean? It's easy to. Dang, the Uber place is still texting me from the other day. I took an Uber and I was nervous as hell, but we made it all right. And they have live music, and they might have some concerts in the streets. You know, they kind of close everything down for the nightlife. It doesn't look like much during the day, but you know, at night this place is hopping with people. I don't think not so much anymore because everybody's moved it to Rainy Street, which is down the way, but there's still some bars and stuff down this area, as you can see. See the Velveeta Room, ENS, you know, all these little shops that have all different types of catering, the venue, private stock, you know, all these little areas that have. See, we're on a different area right now. We're on Old Pecan Street, and it still has plenty of stuff. See how it's. And all these places cater to college kids and mid adults, you know, like when you're in 30, between 30 and 40, which most of those men were, they're successful people, you know, at that point. They've gotten their lives in order. They're working, they have money, they you know, they might be single, whatever. See, look at this. Building after building. Welcome to the mothership. Comedy mothership. And there's first top deck on the 6th Street. Blind Pig Pub. Blind Pig. See, it's like both sides of the street. Wine Garden. So can you imagine a lot of people just walking from bar to bar? You don't know who's who. You don't know who's getting into a vehicle. Next thing you know, we have a dead body just floating. Piano bar. 222. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. Souvenirs. But think about that, man. I mean, and it finally kind of tapers off and it goes into the newer areas with a lot of newer apartments and high rises. So if you live downtown, this is just an area for you to walk to. You know, you're just going to want to do stuff without driving everywhere. So there's a Gold Gym right there on the corner. Go work out. Probably coffee shop down here, all kinds of eating places. So if you want the nightlife, you're going to go down this street or Rainy Street and you're going to go hang out with your buddies. And nobody's thinking, hey, this person could get drugged or they could get taken. And it's over. There's Trinity Street. Just goes all the way to Rainy Street. See, I was all over this area today. I haven't been back very long. So I just got back from like a 6-hour trip. Ended up in San Antonio today, so went a long way home. So if you guys can see the general consensus of the area, you can have an understanding of what's going on there. Tell me what you guys think in the comments, you know. Said you would think with all the accidents on it, they would put up more cameras. Exactly. Hopefully they have. Did autopsies show any sign of defensive wounds? I haven't heard of any. Most of them, in the very beginning, I heard that a couple were bound with tape over their eyes, their hands were bound behind their back, and their legs. But after that, they weren't bound anymore. They were just found floating. If their wallets and phones were never found, it does make sense some kind of criminal intent. You know? So what better way for a criminal to get money than to drug somebody and then kill them? It's very easy to incapacitate somebody once they're under the influence of some kind of chemical. It's so easy. And like I'm saying, many people are going to watch this and they're going to be like, this case doesn't matter. This case isn't important. Just like Riley's was important because everybody thought that he was attacked, and they're still having speculation on that. But the fact that he may have been drugged and taken down there, you know what I mean? It's just interesting how so many bodies keep washing up, and even with cameras and even everything else, um, it just doesn't make sense sometimes. You said crimes like this are going to be more common with the rise of inflation rate. Deaths in my area are skyrocketing. Yes, exactly. Easy, easy scores, just like trafficking. Human trafficking, drug trafficking, all the above. So I wanted to get on here and present this to you guys. I'm gonna call it a night. I might do another one later on if I get down there again, so I can get more involved in the videoing of it. But I was kind of excited to show you guys some live. I thought it was very, very educational. The cell phone thing was educational to me. The fact that the shoreline was so close to the trail was intriguing, and I can only imagine how dark it is down there because I didn't see a lot of light poles, even when I was walking down there. I don't know if y'all noticed in the video if there was a lot of light poles. I know my videography wasn't the greatest, but it was my first time with a phone and being live like that, or videotaping. So somebody keep texting me, so I'm answering them at the same time as I'm doing this stream. I hope y'all didn't get dizzy with the candles in the background. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Please give me some comments. Let me know what you thought about it. Go back and look at the video again that I presented. Do some education on the Mr. Black one because he gives a lot of information. It's about an hour and 30 minutes long. So if you need a good watch, the stream is on my page, and it's called Lady Bird. It has the skyline of Austin. Okay, so I hope y'all enjoyed it. Keep coming back. I hope to build the channel up where people can enjoy what I'm presenting rather than just coming over here and talking for hours about nothing and nonsense. I mean, I'm not trying to talk about anybody else because everybody else does their thing differently. So I'm trying to do my thing different. I'm trying to give information where people can actually learn about true crime and about what goes on in the investigations and things of that nature. I'm not trying to do this for money, and I'm not trying to do this to become famous. I'm just trying to help out a little bit any way I can. So, you guys, leave me some comments, leave me some likes, tell your friends, come on and check it out. And you guys know what time it is. Time for the maestro to cue the music. Y'all have a wonderful night.